Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Success Builders. Today we have with us Sandra Lee Branch. How are you doing today, Sandra?
I'm doing excellent. So much better now that I'm talking to you. Thank you.
Oh, cool. That's so nice to say. So, where are you from, Sandra?
I am from Ohio, born
Oh,
and
awesome.
raised.
Oh, very cool. So that's Ohio in the United States of America. It's Northwest, right?
Ohio. I'm sorry, say again.
That's up in the Northwest, is that right?
Midwest.
Oh, Midwest.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
so I'm gosh, we're between Michigan, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Oh, very cool. So, Sandra, I believe that you're a spiritual coach. I'm sure the audience is very interested to hear about your life journey, what made you decide to get into coaching, where it all basically flowed from, and then a bit about the actual coaching that you do and about your program. So, yeah, we'll open up the floor to you and you can just tell us your story.
Yeah, so I am a professional and spiritual life coach. I am the owner of Pathfinder by S. Lee. I'm also an HR executive. I've been in the HR profession for almost 2 decades, which is how my coaching career took off. I mainly empower women, mostly those of us who maybe, I'd say midlife, because that's where I am. Sometimes feeling, women who may be feeling unfulfilled or lacking purpose or direction. Sometimes, you have an empty nest, and so you're trying to figure out how to reinvent yourself, or maybe you're just, as a woman, you're feeling stuck. Um, dealing with workplace trauma, as I like to call it sometimes, or just simply stuck. I've been there, so my mission, really, this mission is important to me because I was once in that place, and I know what it's like to not have a sense of purpose or defined goal. So that's kind of where I am, but it evolved out of me working in the human resource profession. And all of us have these 8 key areas in our lives that we deal with, including, our family and our friends, our health and fitness, our career and the professional development growth, our relationships and love. And then spirituality is the basis and foundation of all of that. I feel like if you have a good, solid spiritual foundation, then all of those other key areas in our lives can be better dealt with.
Awesome. Yeah. I totally understand exactly the need for this type of coaching because I'm very big on purpose and I've been in many stages of my life where I, have just come out of a job or just come out of a project or something and then, don't really know what's next and don't really feel like I have a purpose. Having a purpose is so important. And, even in blue zone areas where those are places where people tend to live the longest, they generally have
Mm,
a common community purpose. And that helps to kind of fuel them through life and, you know, keep the positivity going that actually keeps them alive. So purpose is actually so important and we really shouldn't downplay that. And
yeah.
that's so good. And so s- um How does your coaching program look? Is it sort of online, virtual, or is it in person? Tell us a bit more about it.
Yeah, so my latest is I'm doing one-on-one personal. My intent and what I'm currently working on, a project that I'm working on now, is putting together a group coaching. My profession is human resources, and I see the challenges that HR professionals sometimes have. So that's one arm of my coaching, where I'm able to help other HR professionals or business managers as they're starting their careers, or maybe they're in the middle of their careers. As I was saying, sometimes people get stuck or they have workplace trauma. And so sometimes I'm dealing with personal one-on-one, but the intent is to do group coaching. I think there's a benefit in the group coaching because others who may have experienced something that another person is going through would be able to add value in that way.
Yeah, that's great. And it's like you see other people going through what you're going through, so you don't feel so alone. You feel like a sense of solidarity with that person. It's extra support as well, which is really cool. I actually
Mhm.
really believe in communities and groups, and that, you know, got a lot of people through the COVID times is when they found an online community to sort of hang on to, and it just kept them going every day through the loneliness and isolation. So I really believe
Yeah,
in group coaching is a really good way to go. Yeah, that is awesome.
yeah.
Um,
I sort of kind of do that now, in my day job, because I do work full time as well. And one of the things you mentioned, COVID and working in a virtual environment, and you still see it even 4.5, 5 years later, where some organizations have not gone back 5 days a week. Some are still hybrid or remote. And so to create that community and to create that culture where there's connectedness, where people feel like, um, they can interact and communicate with others who may be going along the same journey and someone has already figured out an issue. And if you're in a group setting, then there's a sharing of that information, a sharing of that experience that can be really valuable.
yeah, that's awesome. It's a good point that you made about some companies either staying the same or being hybrid. I think it's also a bit of a shock for people when companies change their policy and decide, no, they're going back to the workplace model. And
Mm,
you've been used to not being in the workplace for like a few years now. And used to being around your family and kids and that, and it can be a bit traumatic, going back into the workplace environment. And so there's a bit of a transition, phase required for that. So, definitely, I think people would benefit from, coaching and assistance, just getting back into their normal routine and lives. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. And when you say spiritual coaching, now, is that spiritual in the Christian sense or spiritual in the esoteric sense? Which type of spiritual do you mean?
So my background is Christian, and my foundation is the Bible. I don't push that on people, but that's how I got to where I am. And so I can only speak from that reference. It's how I was literally raised. Been a Christian all my life, for as far as I can remember, to be honest with you. But it's really been the foundation, the bedrock for how I've overcome some adversity in my life and some of the challenges that I have faced. And so my core value is that I am a Christian. I live by the principles of the Bible. And for anyone who, wants to learn how I got to where I am, that's where I come from. That's the reference that I use.
Oh, that's cool. And do you find that most of your clients are Christians, or do you get some that are not?
I get a combination of both. And so a lot of times it's really about what their goals are and what it is that they're trying to achieve. I do like to understand, their core values. And so I think that plays a huge role in terms of how you're able to navigate through all those different areas of life that I talked about. And so if you have core values, a foundation of faith, that you grew up with, or that maybe you've never grown up with faith, and so you're not really sure. And so that's a learning opportunity for anybody that's interested. But I do believe that it's really important to have that solid foundation on which to build on, so that you can kind of create the life that you want in those areas that are really important to all of us.
Awesome. And so, just as you said, we all have values and core values, and the basis, around Christianity is, ethics, morality, and values that are instilled in us by God, basically, and
Mhm,
His
mhm,
commandments. So, um, you know, there is a lot of overlap, even if you're not of the Christian faith. A lot of people are still very good people and still were brought up in very good homes. So you still
mhm.
find that common ground in terms of good values. Um,
That's
you know,
true. That's absolutely true. There's the scripture in the Bible. I believe it's in Romans, basically, where it says, even if you were never taught a word out of the Bible, God has placed enough of Himself in each of us that we know. We know at the very um, basic of right and wrong, right? And so you don't have to know the Bible from Genesis to Revelation in order to be a good person or to live a good life. But He's placed enough of Himself in each of us that if we choose to tap into that, we can. And that can lead us to, I think, the path that He would have us go on. And eventually, people will I think eventually you will seek him because, um, you have that inside of you. And I think a lot of times people are searching. And I do believe that once they do find him, then there's a void or a hole that is filled, and then they can start to build from there.
Yeah, I think that nowadays people are searching for a greater meaning and they're getting involved
Mhm.
with cultish communities and all sorts of things just because they're not sure what they're looking for. And they're just
Yeah,
looking for something and then they just grab onto the first thing that seems to be you know, giving them a bit of elation and a good feeling, and then might not be the wrong thing. So, but I mean, might not be the right thing. So, so yeah, definitely. I mean, I see it so much. People are wanting to follow something or follow people or, find something more than themselves. I think there's a lot of emptiness going around, a lot of loneliness and
yeah,
emptiness left behind in society because of what's going on and what we've been through. So that's definitely something. Um,
yeah.
uh,
That's for sure. It's an epidemic. There are, especially for people. I'm a baby boomer, and so for people who are baby boomers, where before they were the sandwich generation, where we were taking care of our parents and we had like teenage children. Many of us now, our parents have passed on, our kids are grown, and so you find essentially a lot of baby boomers who may be widow or they're single. A lot of them are living alone, and so there's a lot of loneliness. My husband was a therapy coach, and he still deals with veterans who are getting back into the mainstream of society, and there's just a lot of loneliness with not just women, but men deal with it as well.
yeah, that's
And
true.
so it is critical to find that path. That's, I think, the spiritual path to God. That's my choice. Other people get to choose who they want to worship. I don't try to push it off on people, but when people ask me what's working for me, I can share firsthand what's worked for me. My entire life. I'm soon to be 65 here pretty soon, so I have a pretty good relationship, with God and what I believe that the assignment is. He's given each single person on this earth a gift and a talent, and we just have to be diligent and intentional about finding what that is.
Yeah, and I think bringing the talents out of people is very important. Um, depending on what they've been through in life, they don't believe in their talents or don't even know that they have the talents because they're used to just being suppressed by either um the family they grew up in or the workplace they were in, learn to keep their heads down and not be a shining light. So I think a lot of people need that activation and that catalyst and being around others who can light their flame.
Mhm.
I saw this guy. He was actually really, really cool. His name is Dr. Breakthrough. And
That's a breakthrough.
yeah, have you seen him?
No, I'm not familiar, but I like that. Dr. Breakthrough. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
write
yeah.
his name
Yeah, so he does this very visual experiment, or sorry, this visual exercise, and he takes these two lighters, right? And he holds these lighters
down.
up like this. And then he lights them and it shows you that they basically that they're able to light, right? And then he douses one into water. and then he tries to light it, it can't light. Okay. So the water is symbolic of life's problems. Okay. And
Mm,
things that you go through that basically put out your light and put out your flame. And then
wow.
sometimes you need someone to ignite you again. So then he tries to light it, it doesn't light. But you take the second lighter that's dry and you go and light the other one, you can still light it. Okay. So basically, this is the coach. The coach is the other one that comes and lights the other person when they can't light themselves. So
Wow.
it's like super powerful. And like, I really love that
I
analogy that
love
he does.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. That is so great. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And there are some colleagues of mine, and we bounce ideas off of each other, and it's so cool when you're having these conversations and you get these aha moments, and it's like, yes, iron sharpens iron. But what I want to say to people who's listening, who may feel like they can't find their purpose or they don't know what their purpose is, they're probably already operating in it and they just don't realize it. Their superpower is something that probably comes so easy to them but hard for somebody else that they haven't recognized it. I want to say to them too that, the word says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And every good gift comes down from above. And so maybe it's just a matter of asking someone who's close to them, what do you see that I'm good at? Or even to ask themselves, what do people come to me mostly for? And that was one of the things that I even went through. It's like, I like a lot of different things. I like to do a lot of different things, but I had to really narrow it down to what do people really come to me for? And it can be a process, but if they hone in on it, they'll eventually be able to see it. But usually their superpower, their gift is something that they're already operating in. It's so natural to them, they just don't recognize it.
That's really awesome. And it's really good that there's someone like you that's able to bring that out in people and just help them guide to enhance that particular gift that they have. Yeah, so that's really amazing that you do that. So if someone wanted to get involved in your program, how would they go about it?
They can go to my website at sandraleebranch.com, or they can email me directly, and it's Pathfinder by S. Lee, all one word, at outlook.com.
Okay, cool. I'll get you to put that into our private chat later, and then I'll share it on the
Okay.
um, podcast description. So, yeah, if you want to get in touch with Sandra, everything is going to be in the description below or above, depending on the format of the page. And yeah, so everything will be here for you to be able to make contact with Sandra and get her amazing coaching and get assistance in your life. Sandra, I just wanted to make it just clear for the audience. Do you coach women only or men and women currently?
I've done both.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've done both. So it just depends on what their goals are and what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
Okay, fantastic. And if they aren't in your area to do it physically one-on-one, do you also do it virtually as well via Zoom?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've learned to use technology to our advantage, right? I mean, COVID, if nothing else, that huge disruption taught us how to take advantage of the tools around us.
Yeah. So now you're a global
Yeah.
coach rather than just a local one. That is pretty
Yes.
cool. A borderless coach. Um,
Yes.
yeah. Do you have any last words or advice that you would like to leave with the audience?
Yeah, I would really just want to say that, um, planning your life and deciding really what it is that one would want to, pursue or accomplish in life. Again, we can reach out and really just ask for what we want and then decide that that is what we want. I would leave folks with, and they can look this up. It's um, a poem by Jesse B. Rittenhouse, and it's called "I Bargained with Life for a Penny." And I won't go into all of it, but basically, it's life would pay no more. And I begged that evening when I counted my scanty store. And at the very end, it basically says that I work for menials hire only to learn dismay, that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. So I would leave them with that, have an extraordinary day, and to know that whatever it is that they have in their heart's desire, that if they go for it, they can have.
Thank you. That is such a beautiful message. So yes, again, remember to make contact with Sandra if you need her in your life. The details are in the description. And thanks again for tuning in and tune in next time. And in the meantime, remember to always dream big and build bigger. See you again.
All
Bye.
right, thank you.